Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in the Rye Podcast, episode 78. My guest today is going to be comedian and podcaster-A.J. Martinez. Very funny dude. Before we talk to him, talk about my tour dates real quick. You can go to funnyfletcher.com, get tickets for most of these. Some of them aren't on there yet. But here's the dates. May 25th, Albuquerque at the Urban Oasis. June 7th and 8th, I'll be at the Dallas, Texas Hyenas with Punky Johnson. June 14th and 15th, I'll be at the Fort Worth Hyenas with Matthew Broussard. July 6th, I'll be headlining at Bernalillo Quesada's Comedy Club. Headlining the early show and also performing at the late show. July 21st, I'll be in Clive, Iowa with my pal Alex Hooper at a place called Miss Kitty's. I'll be opening for Alex. July 25th, be headlining in Mason City, Iowa at Bricks. July 26th, headlining the Brit Bar and Grill in Britt, Iowa. July 27th, I'll be in my hometown, Chappie's on Main in Clarion, Iowa. Then August 3rd, just added this one, Montrose, Colorado. I'll be at the Canyon Creek. That'll be with AJ. And then October 21st through the 26th, I'll be at the Comedy Cave in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So if you're in any of those areas, come check out a show. Tickets, funnyfletcher.com. Click on my schedule, and you'll find the links there. Let's go talk to AJ, everybody. It's a fun episode.
His name is Curt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Rye. It's the In the Rye Podcast. Curt Fletcher.
AJ Martinez is my guest. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
It's going well. We did a show at Turtle Mountain last night in front of about 10 people. And,
it was probably the smallest crowd I've ever done for Turtle.
Yeah, I think me too. Yeah, I wish I hadn't walked those. Well, I'm kind of glad I walked those two people, actually.
They weren't going to have fun. Here's the thing. Anybody that doesn't like to be acknowledged for being bald is kind of a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing.
I thought he'd at least snicker, and I made fun of him a little bit, but nothing.
He pulled out.
Yeah. So they got to see me and Eddie for free, and then they took off, and I don't know what they were expecting. I wonder if maybe the seating was full in the restaurant, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just go check out the comedy show."
I know. I don't know what it was. It never fails, but there's always someone that will never even crack a smile.
Yeah.
It's like those it's like that meme where the guy's sitting there with a coffee and he's like, change my mind. Except for it's like, I'm at a comedy show, make me laugh.
Yeah.
And then he's just trying his best to just be a total asshole. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sucks, because everyone else I think was having a good time and everything. But like when I was performing, like I just kept looking at them and like watching them, and I was like, fucking laugh at something.
Yeah, man.
Like nothing any one of us said made you at least snicker a little bit?
No, I was actually kind of like, I was very happy that they weren't sticking around, but I was like, I wonder what I could do that would make them laugh. And then I just kind of realized probably nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things about comedy, man, is like trying to write material that'll make everybody laugh. That's so hard, Yeah,
and then if you try to play to the middle too much, it's like, everybody thinks you're an idiot or a hack. So.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I learned, like, performing at Laughs as much as I did. Figuring out the crowds there, like figuring out material to write for a comedy club crowd.
Yeah.
I think that helped me a lot.
No, I think it's awesome that we have like clubs now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, that works. But then it also peels you away from being really weird, because that shit's not going to work
for sure
at like a club.
Yeah.
So like, when I started, it was like right after Laughs closed.
Oh,
so you could do anything you wanted because there was like no quality control at all. So it's like, Yeah, whatever you want to do. And then every now and then you'd find a little group of people that like really liked your stuff. And so
Yeah,
you felt really free to do a bunch of stuff like that. But it didn't really like help the long game for
for
like,
sure.
actually playing for a group that's like, people that would actually pay for tickets.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very different crowd than the
Yeah,
people
I've
that
got
are
I've
a
got a
bar
decent
for
amount of
free.
jokes that I don't tell at certain comedy clubs and stuff,
Hmm.
just because I don't feel comfortable telling those jokes there. But there are some clubs where I do feel comfortable, and I know the crowd enough where I can usually get away with some of those
That's
jokes.
cool.
But yeah, I usually save jokes like that for like open mics and stuff because I know comics will laugh. But
Yeah.
um, but
It's
yeah,
it's
it's such
funny
a
because I could tell when you're going into something that is like, I don't know. I could just tell when you switch gear and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna be weird. And
yeah,
I love that shit. And I think sometimes it's weird with comedy because most comics would rather just make their comedian friends laugh because they just want to impress them,
yeah,
and they'd rather lose everyone else
yeah.
and then do well there.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, but at what cost?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's good for like a comic who is not gonna do anything with comedy really, like just be a scene comic or whatever.
Mhm,
Where they just make their comic friends laugh and don't really give a shit.
mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is good to make other comics laugh, but um, I don't know.
Validating.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they've seen your stuff a bunch of times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think about that way too much probably. Like if I'm on a show with like you or Eddie or something, the guys I've been
Mhm.
doing shows with for years is like, man, I want to do some new stuff for these guys, but ultimately it doesn't matter what the fuck you guys think, you know?
Right. In fact, I think that was the first thing I said on stage last night was like, is there anyone here that doesn't know all of my stuff?
Yeah.
Because I would like to do my routine
Yeah.
and not
I
and
thought you
not
did great, man, for like the
uh
size of the crowd and like I don't know, you're just so much fun to watch for me. I love it.
thanks,
Um
man.
because you give it your all, like no matter what size the crowd is, you don't lose your energy
Right.
like a lot of times I will do that. Like if it's like a low energy crowd, I mean I don't have a lot of energy anyway, but I could kind of feel the crowd's energy and
Oh
like
yeah. Well,
I don't put forth my best effort sometimes.
I remember the day that changed for me.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a comedian. Yeah, she was on like MTV. We don't have to talk about her, but she was big. She had a pretty big name, and we were at like the Guild,
Hmm.
and the Guild is like notoriously small.
Hmm.
Like even for like a little independent theater, it's really small. And I went up, and the crowd was really dead, and it was really late, and she was the headliner, and I don't know how you can destroy it with four people, but she did the closest you could do
Yeah.
in that it was like there could have been like 1,000 people there.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
Cause I liked it. I had a good time. I was there with my brother and we talked about it for like an hour. And I was like, man, you just kind of have to just do that.
Yeah.
And so I try. Sometimes if you can tell they're just not having fun, there's
Hmm.
nothing you can do.
It's so yeah, it's so hard to get into it, you know?
Yeah, because well, what I try to do is I try to scan for like a few people that are digging it. And
Yeah,
then if they're into it, it's like, okay, I can even like just kind of watch them
for
while
sure.
like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Um, when I'm doing like a bit that I know takes a lot of like energy.
Hmm.
So like but if it's just kind of firing off like some quick jokes, I'll just do them like normal speed. But there's
Hmm.
some where they kind of don't work unless you're excited. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
thought
hard.
last night's show was pretty fun though, other than those two people who weren't laughing. Um,
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
excited to see. I had never seen Isabel.
oh yeah,
She was
Isabel
good.
Madley. She was very
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I was
Great
really
writer.
impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she got clever stuff. That's what
Uh-huh.
I liked about it because like there was some stuff where uh, it's like all right, and like you said, the crowd's not like rolling or anything, but like
Yeah.
not that there was just not enough people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but she still had the joke there, which was
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
overall it was a great show. The comics were awesome and the people who did enjoy the show. You know, they laughed, and it was cool. My friend Nate was there. He was the one that kind of pushed me into doing stand up, like, because I always said I was going to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'd always talk about it, and Nate was the guy who's like, "Dude, just shut the fuck up and do it already." I was like,
yeah. As far as barriers to entry, I'd say a comedian is probably about the. If you talk about it and you haven't done it, you probably don't want to do it.
Yeah,
so that's cool. That he
no, I
pushed
definitely
you.
wanted to do it. I didn't think I could do it until I was 21 because the comedy club was 21 and older, you know.
Yeah.
So when I turned 21, that's when I decided I'm gonna do it, and I wish I would have started earlier, you know, because I wanted to, but yeah, once I turned 21, I was like, all right, I'm giving myself a few months. I'm gonna write 5 minutes of stuff. I'm gonna try it out. I gave myself the date was August 5th. I'm like, I'm gonna go do it. If I suck, I'll never do it again. But at least I tried it, you know.
Yeah.
What it went really well. So
what a curse it is.
Yeah.
Like comedy is just so fucking. I always tell my wife it's the only like hobby people can get into where they sometimes just wish that it would get canceled.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody collects model airplanes and drives to the hobby store. They're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if it burned down and then I didn't have to do it?" That I feel like that all the time. Like
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's so funny.
When Eddie and I are like driving to a show, if the phone rings or we get a text, we're like, "Oh my god, maybe it got canceled." That'd be so great. Just because I think more than anything with comedy, the comics are the coolest part about it. Like other comics usually are the best part. So like the best part about it is, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you just got to hang out and we didn't have to worry about the stress of it? There's so much anxiety. I think it's also if you care, it's anxiety. It gives you anxiety. If you don't care and you have no self-awareness, you're either like extremely talented and good or you're psychotic. That's
I must be psychotic because sometimes I don't care.
Mm-hmm. No, we know.
Like there are some shows where I don't get nervous at all. You know, I don't know why. It just I don't know. I usually don't get nervous when I go on stage. A lot of times, unless I'm like doing a new club or I'm like headlining a club or something like that. And I don't know why that is. Like, if I'm just featuring though, I usually just don't give a shit. Like, I don't get that nervous. I get a little nervous, but like not real bad. But like, you know, my first open mic, I almost walked out. Like I was so scared.
Oh yeah.
And that happened for years. That happened for so many years. Did you freeze?
Oh.
Dude, you just froze on a funny
Curt,
face.
there?
Yeah.
I know. I saw you and then it went blank.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, you froze and like you had a super funny face. No, you're like smiling.
Like that?
It'll be funny to show you later.
Yeah. That's a South Park episode. Do you remember when they had to go to school and they all wanted to miss school?
Yeah.
So he just made a face. And then he just put the picture in front and go outside and play. Yeah. No, I fucking hate these things. Do you think that this would be nailed by now, the video thing?
Yeah, right?
I mean, that was the only thing that was supposed to be in the future that I remember, besides the flying car, was a video phone.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're forced to have it.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Didn't Pee Wee Herman have one on Pee Wee's Playhouse?
I think so.
It wasn't a mobile one, but he had to go sit in like a photo booth type of thing and call someone, I think.
Yeah, that and he had giant forks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How funny.
Did
you know Rob Zombie worked on that show?
Who?
Rob Zombie.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he the mailman?
No, he's like one of the crew members.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, is that weird?
Yeah, that is weird. Man, I was watching. I don't want this to take a dark turn.
Oh,
but I was watching. I was watching that show, Quiet on Set.
Oh yeah.
Where like the children, and see, I grew up on all those like Nickelodeon shows.
Yeah.
It was horrible, man. It's like, stay away.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of those. I think I was a little older. I'm a little older than you, so I missed on some
Yeah.
of those. But yeah, fucking creepy people, dude.
Yeah. There was like a dude named like Robert the Pickle or some shit like that. That was like
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's horrible. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're just out there. They're just out there.
Dude, it's yeah, I feel bad for any child actor. It seems like a lot of them went through shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe eventually though there won't be any child actors anymore. They'll use like AI or something.
CGI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll solve the problem. I
Yeah.
do feel like that would probably happen before they got rid of all of the creeps.
Yeah.
It's really just like if there are two things that could happen and we were racing, it would be we'll just let the robots do it.
Yeah.
And then once they learn to deactivate the squealing program in the robots, they're done for. They're gonna experience so much shit.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that documentary is fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Did you see what was his name? Was it Dan Schneider?
Yeah.
The guy. Did you see his I guess it was like a podcast after that or an interview or something like that.
No,
Have you
he
seen
answered. He addressed it, huh?
Yeah.
What did he have to say?
I don't remember, but you should definitely watch it.
Well, he's the Good Burger guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I grew up in like the 90s. I was like exactly the right age for that stuff.
Yeah.
And that dude was just always in my living room.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like it was always on. And yeah, it just makes me sad.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I remember him from whatever that sitcom he was on. Head of the Class or something like that. I think it was.
Oh, really? Yeah, see, you are like an 80s kid.
Yeah.
Because like all the shit that we talk about, it's like right before I was like, I came online to do all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it all out.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was huge, man. I remember I feel like Nickelodeon started in the early 90s because I remember watching I want to say Hey Arnold was probably the first thing I watched on there, something like that.
Yeah. I loved Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy was classic, man.
Yeah, I remember I was telling my wife, like, so my dad's not like he wasn't like a cartoon dude, but for whatever reason he thought Ren and Stimpy was like really funny.
Oh yeah.
And
it wasn't like a normal cartoon like
no,
that we were
totally
used
weird.
To. Yeah.
So it was like one that we would always like watch together. It was actually pretty cool. But then that guy turned out to be a creep too.
The Ren and Stimpy guy?
Yeah, I think
really?
so.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think something happened with him, and that's like why it got canceled, and they brought it back, and the animation was all different. And,
oh, really?
And he was also like a huge asshole to like all his staff.
Really?
Yeah, I guess you just can't be talented without being a huge asshole. Maybe that's what.
That's me and my buddy have talked about that. It seems like assholes make it further in the entertainment world, and
yeah,
I tried being an asshole for a couple days to see if it'd work, and it's just hard to be an asshole.
Yeah, you just know like Beethoven was a dick, and Mozart was like, there's no way they weren't.
Yeah,
because they were too good.
Yeah, for sure. That's funny.
Nobody.
Charles Grodin, total dick.
Yeah, all of them. The dude who played the liar.
Yeah,
the Greek guy. What's his name?
I don't know. Yanni.
Yeah, that's him. I was thinking ancient Greece.
Oh yeah. What about Tiny Tim? That weirdo. Do you remember him?
From Hey Arnold?
No. He was a musician.
Oh no.
He was he was a weird musician.
Okay. No.
Yeah, and then you look at like shitty entertainers, you're like, yeah, he's a nice guy.
I know. Yeah, you got to sell your soul to the devil first.
Yeah. That's why Eddie Stevens is so good at comedy.
Yeah, he really is. He did make some kind of deal with the devil.
I think he did.
Except for I think the problem with Eddie is he sold his soul to the devil, for talent, which he has, but the devil is also punishing him before he dies because he's constantly going through hell. Whenever you talk to him, it's the worst day of his life.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah,
like
that's
whatever
fun.
deal like Paganini made with the devil, his life was great, and then he died, then he goes to hell, and he's just experiencing hell right now.
Yeah. But when he dies, man, he's got it made.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like normal shit.
That's fine. Yeah, I love performing with Eddie.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I was so surprised those people weren't laughing at him. But
yeah, there is a comfort in doing shows with like you, Eddie, and I guess the reason why I'm so excited about these other people that are doing the show that were on the show last night was I was like, oh, cool. There's some more people that I'm not having like a heart attack
yeah,
when we have a show because Albuquerque, we're not a huge city,
yeah,
so there's not a lot of comedians, and every now and then, man, it's slim pickings for you know.
yeah. I feel like it is getting better though. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't go to like open mics or anything like that, but it seems like we've got a decent amount of comics now.
A lot of comics and a lot of open mics, dude.
Tons of open mics.
Yeah, those they're still fucking brutal.
Oh, I
Open
bet.
mic, I was I'm trying to do that show on Wednesday, and I wanted to kind of just work on my routine, just kind of get the timing back because I hadn't really done it. And I went to a couple open mics, and I was like, God, this is
Yeah.
just hard to do. I can't believe that I spent like so many years going all the time to an open mic.
Oh yeah, and hosting too. You hosted for a long
Oh,
time.
dude, yeah, we hosted an open mic probably from 2007 or 8. Probably 2009 to like 2014 or some shit.
Yeah.
Every single week.
Jesus.
And yeah, man.
Yeah, I
could
did the
never do
one.
that
I did the
again.
one at Founders with Holly for a while. That was
Yeah.
man,
Is that the
there
one
were
downstairs? Which one is that? Is that the one?
yeah, it's the speakeasy.
Yeah, that one's cool. Well, it was
Yeah, I
cool.
did enjoy it, but man, sometimes it just sitting there through the comics can be pretty rough.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, I know it's kind of like, they say there's like hack jokes. There's almost like hack open mic, like jokes, like as a host.
Oh yeah,
And mine, and I hear it all the time. It's like, hey, just because you get 5 minutes doesn't mean you need to take all 5 minutes. You don't have. And there were two. I think there were two fucking comics on Thursday. And I mean, I don't know where they're at. Nothing against them or anything, but they did their material and then they went, "Oh, look, I still got 2 minutes left. So what else? What else?" It's like, no, that's it. You're done. You ran out of shit to say.
Yeah, stop.
Stop. And they had some good jokes.
Oh,
Could
really?
have stopped while they were ahead. Yeah, I don't mind ever leaving early.
For sure.
Especially on a high note.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to forget that. They'll be happier with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like anything, It's like,
man. What was the craziest set you ever saw hosting an open mic? Do you remember?
Oh, like their material?
Yeah, or just something crazy that happened, maybe.
Well, shit. I think it was only like my third open mic I ever did. This dude was at the tavern. Remember the tavern?
Oh yeah.
And the guy ran up and grabbed the mic from me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I let him have the mic because I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think it was Stephen Hunt was like, "Why the fuck did you let him have the mic?" I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to protect the microphone.
Yeah.
And he got it, he grabbed it, and he started screaming. He sounded like Animal from the Muppets. He was just like,
wow.
And that was pretty weird and horrible. And I remember it was like my third time trying comedy, and somebody from work went.
Oh no.
And he was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I guess this is just how it is." But as far as like other comedians, a lot of people insulting the crowd.
Yeah.
At an open mic.
Yeah.
That I'm responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
And then having to go tell the owner. I mean, we lost an open mic because of that.
Yeah.
Because We were outside at a patio at a restaurant. It wasn't a bar. And we had a comic that started telling off some woman, talking shit.
Mhm.
And it's like, dude, she's just here to eat. She wasn't even there for the show. And she complained to the owner, and that's why one of them open mics is no more.
Yeah. That's one thing some of the brewery shows here are like that, where it's like half people that are there for the show, and then the rest of the people have no fucking clue there's a comedy show going on until someone just starts yelling into the microphone.
Ambush comedy.
Yeah.
It's just ambush comedy. And I hate it because it doesn't give you a good, it doesn't give you any kind of reading on whether or not they like it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you could be a really good comedian. And if you just come up to me when I'm having dinner with my family and just start talking shit, I might not laugh.
Yeah.
You know, especially I had no idea, and I just don't want my kid to hear the F word like 40 times because I have like a 3-year-old or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just leave. And yeah, I mean, I see a lot of that in open. I think there's the problem is a lot of new comics, they needed to have like an open mic experience, but their first experience is not an open mic. Their first experience with comedy is like watching it online.
Yeah.
Or watching a video or something. So when they see shit, they see like a video of like when I was younger, it was Bill Hicks just trashing a heckler. But it's like, well, yeah, he's a really good comedian and he's been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
And she was at one of his shows and then he shut her down.
Yeah.
He didn't just show up at a bar
Yeah.
and just screaming the C word at some girl, you know, for minding her own business.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but yeah, I think it's good we got enough comic. Like I think we it's good to have comedy clubs. Kind of do
it's crazy. We're gonna have 3 here pretty soon.
Yeah, when's another one we're opening up?
I think in August.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they're pretty far spread out where it's gonna be all right, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
Even though it's like we think of it as a small town, it really isn't.
No.
You know, with the surrounding areas, there's 1 million people.
Yeah.
You know, so Quesada's brings in people from Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And the west side and stuff like that. And then
Algodones and Bernalillo and every other little town.
Yeah, and Hyenas is gonna be over by Windrock Mall, so they'll bring in people from the East Mountains and stuff like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good.
Laughs was like really centralized. It was like right in the middle.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago too. That was like 20 years ago.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I did the last show there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was New Year's Eve. It's pretty fun. Yeah, it was just me and Russ. Me and Russ did the final show there.
Oh,
that was pretty
cool. Did you guys turn off the lights on the way out and take one last look around like fucking Fresh
We
Prince?
did, yeah. Yeah. We were both pretty hammered.
Yeah.
Also, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember right. A lot of cool people were there that night.
You know, Curt, I too was part of the last show at a comedy club, and I was also part of their first show, which was the same show.
Oh my god, what was that club called?
It was called the Comedy Vault.
The Comedy Vault. That's right.
And
oh my god,
I remember the headliner was like, "Hey man, don't say anything. I don't want to cause any problems," but I fucking didn't get paid.
Jerry Rocha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually it worked out. He did get paid.
Yeah.
But not for a while.
Yeah, it's so funny because I got to hear some of the story about that because a buddy of mine, I think I was living in Tulsa at the time the club opened.
Yeah.
And so the guy who opened it was trying to look for partners in the club. And he talked to a friend of mine who owns a club. And so my friend flew out to Albuquerque and met with him and stuff. And, he was on board to join up and stuff. And then he asked for his business plan. And he's like, oh, I don't have a business plan.
Oh,
like, what are you doing? And because that guy texted me, I think the second week on the Friday.
Okay.
He texted me. He goes, that dude's already out of money. He's like,
no shit.
It's not going to be open next week.
Yeah.
He was trying to depend on ticket sales to keep it going.
Yeah, dude. I remember, like, I remember that. I remember there was like no money, and then like
Yeah.
I actually think there was 2 shows. There was the one I went to, and then there was one I did, and that was the
You did
last
one,
show.
yeah, and then the second week, I think it was Joey Medina was there. Because I think they did the second weekend as well.
I do remember going before to check it out.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to order a drink, and she's like, "Yeah, we don't have that." And I was like, "Hey, what about this?" She's like, "Yeah, we don't got that." And I was
Oh
like,
my
"What about
God.
this?" She's like, "We don't have any money for any alcohol right now." It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck can I drink?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was. I mean, it's just people are insane.
Yeah, that guy in particular, I remember because he booked me because I was going to headline. I was going to come back for Christmas to visit my family, and he booked me like a weekend to headline while I was going to be there. You know.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But then I don't remember exactly what happened. I know Holly worked for him for a bit, like because he did a show. I think at the convention center, he booked a show there, and Holly was like kind of bartending for him.
Uh-huh.
And he just treated her like shit.
Really?
And then, like, I'd heard he treated other women like shit. So I sent him an email.
Was he ever a comic?
He was never a comic.
Okay, yeah.
Because I sent him an email and I was like, hey, man, I've heard about the way you treat women. And it's like way too many women that I've heard from for this to be just a weird coincidence, you know? So I'm not going to work with you. I'm canceling my week. And he got all pissed off about it and, like, tried to defend himself. And I was like, I'm not going to do the week, dude. And I'm canceled. Fucking, and I knew he wasn't going to be open anyway, so I was like,
hey, take a stand.
I just kind of wanted to fucking
might as well take a stand.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember we were eating outside, and Jerry was like, "Why does that fucking sign on the front of the comedy club say opening soon? There's a show today."
Yeah.
And so it's like they couldn't even get foot traffic. He was just a total. It was just a total shit show.
Yeah, such a moron.
Yeah, it was 180 degrees different from this other one opening at Santa Ana. It was fucking awesome. So that was like it's like a well-oiled machine already. I don't see how they won't make money.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's a great club. I mean, Dry Heat's a great club too. Dry Heat is, outlasted the Comedy Vaults.
Yeah. Well, I have to go to the new location. I haven't been to the new.
I haven't either. I want to check it out.
Yeah,
I've heard great things.
I think it'll be better. Man, downtown's. I'm just so old for downtown.
Dude, I fucking hate downtown.
Yeah, it scares the shit out of me. Like, I just remember, where the vault was it used to be a bar called Maloney's.
Oh yeah.
And in college, that's pretty much where I spent all my paychecks.
Oh really?
Yeah, and so I was kind of stoked that it was a club, and I was like, "Hey, this is cool." Like, I used to go here all the time, and man, I was like scared to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to get like if I had all the money in the world, I would just have an Uber drop me off like right in front, and then I would just walk like 2 feet, like this, and then go inside. But yeah, man, downtown has gotten pretty sketchy in Albuquerque.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? A lot of people don't know this. There was another comedy club downtown. Inside Out, the building with no roof right now.
Yeah.
So that used to be the Golden West, which was a terrible bar. But for like about a month or so, it was a Catch a Rising Star comedy club.
Oh, really? So this was like what, like 1995 or something?
No, it's 2004.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I was working at Laughs at the time, and so they at first I think they started in the casino at I want to say Isleta. So they did. I think they were only there for a couple weeks or something, like maybe a month, and then so they opened at Golden West, and Golden West was like a shitty bar. I did comedy there once. It was actually a fun show, but just not a good setup for comedy because it's like one of those really long bars, so it's like not intimate at all. It's like all the people are like going back, like so it's like just a weird. I don't know. There's not people around you, like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like bands didn't even like playing there. So yeah, they had Catch a Rising Star there for a little bit, and like it didn't last at all. I just remember they had like the finalists from Last Comic Standing when they were on tour. They performed there. I don't remember who it was that year. I feel like it was John Heffron and a couple guys.
Probably, well, the first year was like that was like Kathleen Madigan and all those people, right? Like the first season.
Yeah, like Dat Fan, I think, was the winner. Ralphie was on there. A really funny guy from Minnesota.
Was Todd Glass there?
Todd Glass. What year was he on?
I thought he was the first one.
I feel like he was on one of those earlier ones. Yeah.
See, I should have learned my lesson watching that season when they all said, because like all the other reality shows were like, hey, here's this chick. She just graduated high school and she can really sing. She's going to be the biggest star ever. And she's 18 years old. And then Last Comic Standing came out and they're like, yeah, my name's Kathleen Madigan. I've been doing comedy for 35 fucking years and nobody's ever heard of me. And she's really good.
Oh, she's great.
No one had heard of her. Like, that is the biggest grind ever to be like one of the best. And it's like, well, yeah. Got to catch a break.
Yeah. That I feel like that show did do a lot for a lot of people. But yeah, what a terrible show. It was awful. Did you ever audition for it?
No, I remember when when everybody kind of went. I don't remember when it was, but I remember like
06.
Yeah, that was before I started.
That's right.
Yeah. Which probably is a good thing.
Yeah,
because I wasn't delusional enough to think that I was going to be on it.
Yeah, I went the first year I went was pretty fun. Well, most of it was fun. I probably told you the story about taking Marcus Jennings.
Leaving him.
Yeah.
But
my friend Mark actually made it to the callback show, which was awesome. For Mark.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because so he did one-liners too, and so he goes in and does his one-liners, and they liked him, and then I go in right after him and do one-liners.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you friends with Mark? And I'm like, yeah, we drove in together, and they're like, man, we've already got some one-liner comics, like enough one-liner comics. He's like, if you would have gone before Mark, we would have taken you and not Mark. But I was like,
no shit. Well,
yeah.
It's funny because the format of that show, you guys all should have been one-liner comics.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because they only gave them 2 minutes each week.
Yeah.
So you got to have some rapid fire stuff.
Yeah.
You can't start some big speech.
Yeah.
And then get to minute 2 and you haven't even had a payoff yet.
Yeah.
And then they go to a commercial. Fuck that.
Yeah. I'm glad Mark made it though. I mean, I was really hoping he would make it onto TV because his one-liners were cleaner than mine, and he was in college, I think, at the time when we did it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What's he
so
doing
he
now?
was young, and what's that?
What's he doing now?
He doesn't do comedy. He quit comedy a long time ago. He was 21 when he quit.
What?
Yeah. And he was featuring. He had an album out, and he was on XM radio and shit. He just, got sick of dealing with people in the business, and I don't fucking blame him one bit, man. But I miss writing with him and stuff. We always had a good time, and we always made fun of Eddie Tafoya together. So that was always awesome.
Would you say that you probably have been in maybe 90% of all bars in Albuquerque?
In Albuquerque?
Yeah.
Man, I bet it's pretty close.
Yeah,
I could drive around town and show you places I've performed. There.
I do the same thing. Any place that has alcohol or did have alcohol, I always go, I did a show there.
Yeah. Coronado Mall. There used to be a place called Chelsea Street Pub. Used to have an awesome open mic there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Do you remember? The fuck was it called? Misty's.
Yeah, I think I only did one show there.
Okay.
And it was a booked show.
That was the most bar I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I remember, those coin operated pool tables.
Oh yeah.
Where you put 9 quarters in it. They'll spit out. I remember seeing this really old comic. He was 90 years old. He goes up there, he starts talking, and somebody turns the pool table on, and all the balls go everywhere. And it did like he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Rack them up. I'm just here talking. No big deal." And it turned into a pretty good little I don't know what you want to call it, heckling session with
Was
this
it?
guy.
He was a professional comic, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was J. Wendell Walker.
That's who it is.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Good.
I was on that show. Yeah.
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 Fuck. My favorite was when he said the heckler said, "Turn on your hearing aid," and then he said, "I don't wear a hearing aid." And then the heckler stopped talking, and the comic goes, "It's your turn, idiot!" Like, yeah, you're supposed to say something.
Yeah.
Great.
Dude,
Yeah.
he was on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Really?
Yeah. That's how fucking old he is. He's still alive.
How do you say his name? Well,
J. Wendell Walker.
Wendell
Walker.
Yeah.
Dude, he used to come to Laughs. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you remembered that because
Yeah.
that was
He
like
was he was great, man.
Yeah.
His wife came with him one time down to Laughs.
Really?
And she was super nice. She like helped bust tables and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like in between shows when they're cleaning up the showroom. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad that's like a real thing. I didn't just
Yeah.
make that up.
Yeah. He was, man, for his age, he was so fast, you know?
Yeah. He was
And
real quick on his
he had a
feet.
lot of great one-liners, and he had the toupee.
Yeah. I mean, after COVID, everything, there's like so many new places and old places that closed. And
Yeah. What's the place you hated the most to perform at in Albuquerque?
Like open mic or anything?
Yeah.
Probably retros. I don't know if you remember retros.
I don't know if I know retros.
It was like, I think it was like the first place I ever did comedy.
Really?
Yeah, but no. Oh, there was another place even worse called Paparazzi. Do you remember Paparazzi?
Oh yeah.
And they had it like on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And they never turned off all of the like fucking laser shows and all that shit
Yeah.
that was going all over. And you just got up there and started talking, and it was this huge room. And I think to this day that's the only show that my brother-in-law's been. I've done comedy clubs. I've done like some
Yeah.
good shit since then, and I think he just enjoys having that burned into his memory that I just did a fucking open mic at Paparazzi.
I remember doing it was like a booked show there one time, and man, Eddie Tafoya ate shit so bad. It's so funny. People were heckling him, and he didn't know how to handle it. And he was like, he asked the crowd.
I think I remember when
He's like, "Will you guys stop heckling me?"
Yeah, I think he literally yelled, "Do not fucking heckle me! Do not fucking heckle me!" I loved it.
Oh, he was so pissed. And it was a majority black crowd that night too, because I remember telling a pretty racist joke, and I was kind of nervous to do it, and they fucking loved it.
Yeah, most people are pretty good about having a sense of humor if they're like in on it. I think when you like, I really think it's just don't ambush anybody.
Yeah,
in comedy. I really think that's the problem.
Uh-huh.
You know, one thing that was like very satisfying for me was I probably done comedy like just open mics for a while, man.
Mm-hmm.
Before people would like, hey, we're actually doing the show. And they were like at like the Elks Lodge or something like that. But that's when I would do those shows, and then everybody was like really nice to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we loved it. And I was like, oh wow, you guys actually like this shit?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, we actually came out to see it. You know? That's what I really like about Turtle, is it's its own room.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go seek it out.
Uh-huh. And it's a nice room. It's a nice little square room, it's a good setup, and
it reminds me of Howie's.
Yeah. It's a lot like Howie's.
Yeah, Howie's was awesome. I met my wife at Howie's.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I met her. It was at a show.
Doing comedy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, I really bamboozled her into thinking I was somebody. Yeah, dude, that place was the shit. The Matt Peterson Comedy Hour or whatever it was called.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah, that was like, no shit, man. Like, that was it for me. I was so happy when I got booked there because I liked Matt, and that felt like the most, because we didn't have a club or anything else. That felt like the most like a real show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know,
and that's how Turtle Mountains was too.
Yeah.
Like that always felt like a real comedy club type crowd to me.
Yeah, I would say all the way up until the day before yesterday, it was like that.
Yeah.
I literally do not remember it being that small of a crowd.
Yeah, what's funny is like my buddy texted me. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna come to your show tonight." And I was like, "All right, make sure you get there a little early because they usually pack the place."
Oh yeah. No.
And then
I try not to
I got there
people.
and he was already there, and then he's pretty much the only one there, and I'm like,
Yeah, dude, I've definitely had people standing room only.
Yeah.
Like I've had some buddies show up and they're like, I feel kind of bad because they have to just stand there in the back.
Yeah.
I think it was with Josh Fournier and some other people. I did the show. I think it was like back in January or February or something. And yeah, dude, you couldn't sit down. There was no place to even stand. You were in somebody's way. So hopefully it'll bounce back.
It
I
will.
think it just had
definitely
to do
will.
with the timing of like graduations and everything else. So
you don't think it had anything to do with you headlining?
I try not to take any responsibility.
Yeah, that's on Eddie. That's his marketing.
Yeah. Where were you on that one, Eddie?
Yeah.
How about
they don't even put it on their website or anything. I feel like they should.
I mean, they have that big ass thing when you walk in the door, and they do get foot traffic from that. But I mean, they just never needed it before. It was crazy. Like I've just never seen it not packed.
Also, another thing I noticed was like almost every time I go in there, there's people sitting in that waiting room, and last night there weren't. So I feel like they weren't even busy as they normally are.
Yeah,
in the restaurant.
I think, and it's just comedy is a winter sport.
Oh,
I feel like, I just feel like it gets darker earlier. People want to be inside, and it's just something you'd rather do. Everybody's depressed. They want to go do something. But when everybody was out and it was like an awesome, nice weekend of weather, everybody just wants to do their own thing. They don't want to be cooped up. I mean, and it's hard with that place because it's got those big old windows, and you can see it's daylight outside. Gotta get some curtains.
Yeah. Who's your favorite comic you've ever worked with? Like got to open for?
It might be some recency bias, but probably Samuel J. Comroe.
Nice.
From America's Got Talent fame.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I just did a show with him a few months ago, but him and his feature, Ralph Guerra, were like the coolest people ever, man.
Nice.
Yeah, and the timing was perfect because the Lobos had just won the Mountain West, or they were in that game, and we were at the cantina outside of the club watching it, and they all had money. They had money on it, and everything. It was great. It was just a cool experience. So yeah, that's one dude where I would like if there was no show, I'd be like, oh, let's hang out. You know, for sure. What about you?
It's always nice to meet comics like that. What's that?
What about you?
I mean, I tour with my buddy Tim Gaither a lot, so he's always, he's one of my best friends. So working with him is always awesome.
Is he kind of the big? Is he like a bigger guy?
No, he's tiny.
Oh shit! I'm confusing him with somebody else then.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
I don't know.
He's a pretty little guy. Like he's a buff dude. He'd whip the shit out of me, but definitely shorter than me and weighs less.
Tim Gaither. I don't think I know him.
I don't know. My 3 all-time favorites, though, I've actually got to work with are Troy Baxley, Chad Daniels, and Theo Vaughn, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just talking about Troy yesterday, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, he was one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen in person. He like just watching him at Laughs when he was on, like there were some times where he just didn't give a shit. Which was even funnier sometimes to watch.
See, I think that's what I hope it gets that way with the clubs that are showing up now, where you could actually call it like your home base.
Yeah,
and you can stretch your legs a little bit. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it was great because so the first time I got to work with Troy was in 2003, And I watched every show. We did 7 shows, or actually 8 shows, because we had a gig in Espanola to start the week. And I just watched him every night. I was like, this guy is fucking incredible. Like, how does nobody know who this guy is?
Right.
And then, I was telling him at the end of the week, like, he gave me a CD, and I listened to it like every day for like a month, and just I had it memorized, and like I could easily do probably an hour of Troy Baxley's material. He actually emails me sometimes, and will say, "Hey, do you remember this joke?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you remember how I worded it?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's like this."
Oh shit. Well, something probably to end on a high note for you, Curt. I did the same thing with you when you recorded your album at it was like County Line or something. And I got one of your CDs and I fucking listened to it all the time.
Really?
Dude. Yes. So like, yeah, there's definitely a chunk of my brain that can remember.
Oh, that's awesome. That's stuff. So funny.
Yeah.
That CD, it's so funny because so I became friends with the singer for Bowling for Soup. He does my intro music on here and stuff.
Nice.
But I met his wife years ago. Like, they weren't married at the time, but she was the only person that bought that CD.
Oh yeah.
I was performing at Hyenas in Fort Worth. She was the only person that bought the CD.
Yeah.
And then we became friends on like MySpace or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, she wanted to meet the star.
And then she got married to Jarrett, and then I've got his poster right back there too.
Oh, cool.
And then I met him a few years ago at a show. So lucky I didn't know how to edit CDs back then, so it's just like one long track. It's like 42 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, the technology keeps changing so fucking fast. I remember when I first started, Brett Hiker was like, "You need to get iMovie for like Apple or some shit."
Yeah.
And I actually bought a book on it. Of course, I'm so lazy, I never even hardly used it.
Really?
And then the last time I had to upload a video, it was like the easiest thing in the world because it's all through your phone now. And I'm sure in 5 years it's going to be even easier than that. I don't even know. Like, it's probably going to you're going to listen to yourself talk and then say, new track. And then it'll just make a new track for you or some shit like that. I don't know. But like, it is a weird, and that's probably my greatest weakness is all of the technology in comedy.
Yeah.
I'm I like to romanticize all of those other comics that I used to watch when I was younger, and they'd always just have like a notepad. And they just would like that's what it was. You just went, you did your material and you left. And now there's this whole other thing where it's like, well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if you're good at comedy, that's a good start. But then you also have to have like an online presence and you have to use technology. Even like the booker that I sent all that shit to, it's like, hey, you got to have a video. It's got to have this many megapixels. I don't even know. And it's like, and it can't be too many and it can't be too little. And it's got to be a link. Don't send me a video, send me a link. And it's like, Jesus, like, I mean, I'm older than I look, I guess.
Well, when I started, you had to send a VHS tape. Physically go to the post office and mail it.
Yeah, dude. Could you imagine the hassle?
Dude, it sucked. And I was just doing, like, this is when I was first starting out, so it was just like a 15-minute tape.
Yeah.
So I'd waste like this 6-hour tape just on this stupid little 15 minutes that I was doing.
Well, yeah, and then if the booker's not paying attention, it's like 15 minutes of Curt, and then all of a sudden Conan the Barbarian's on.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what where are we at? It's the guy. Put on the Conan guy. That guy was good.
I was like, can you watch this and then send it off to the booker in the next town?
Yeah. Or could you watch this and send it back, please? Because I want to know how Alien ends. Yeah.
Yeah. And then before that, man, I don't know how it happened, but things, technology, definitely making it easier for sure.
This is probably too much of a story, but I got my degree in marketing in like 2008. I got a bachelor's degree in marketing management, and this was before Facebook was like a thing. And this was before Twitter existed. MySpace was kind of around, but by the time I graduated, almost all of my profession or my education was like obsolete. Like we
Yeah.
literally were learning on like we were learning how to send surveys by mail.
Yeah. Oh,
That was
yeah.
part of my like education in
Wow.
college, and
Yeah.
was like tracking where to where to track and send mail to people to get surveys on like products they use like Clorox and shit. And now it's like all that shit's free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And and or it's a survey before you click a video. It's
Hmm.
like, how often do you use this product, that product?
Yeah.
It's all automated, and there's no need for somebody like me. They just pay Google to do it,
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, I felt like that. I remember taking a journalism class because I was thinking about getting into sports journalism,
yeah,
and I'm glad I didn't.
dude. Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, going to school for something like sports journalism, getting really good at writing, maybe something kind of witty and like a punchline to your
Hmm.
headline,
Yeah.
and then you open up Twitter and there's 8 million guys that are doing it for free,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
and that it's just a hobby they're doing, and they
Yeah.
got, it's a weird time. It's stand-ups like that. Like
Oh, for sure.
I used to I used to write. Dude, I probably have like 30,000 posts on Twitter, like like just from writing every single joke that popped in
Yeah.
my head.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, there's a lot of fucking input for very little feedback,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even if you get like a million likes or something, it goes viral.
Hmm.
It's like, what can you get out of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was like, I think it was like Bloody Elbow or somebody, one of these like MMA publications that probably doesn't even exist anymore. I wrote like a joke about like an MMA fight, and they're like, "Hey, can we use that?" And I was like, "Sure." So I got a little credit on it with my
Oh,
little at
cool.
symbol,
Yeah.
but it's like it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Like it
Exactly.
didn't
Yeah.
help me in any
Yeah.
way other than like I think I sent like the screenshot to my brother. I was like, "Look at
Yeah.
this." And that was it.
Yeah. One of my tweets was in the Des Moines Register one time
Nice.
because I was making fun of the Iowa football team was in a bowl game and they're getting the shit beat out of them. And I said, I saw better tackling in Tom Arnold and Roseanne's sex tape.
Wow, they put that on there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's in the Des Moines Register. I think you're allowed to have the key to the city for that.
Yeah.
You get to be mayor for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was pretty
man.
awesome. And Tom Arnold's a big Iowa fan too, so that was pretty cool.
That was a good way to rub it in about his favorite team and his ex-wife.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
double
Yeah.
whammy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, sweet,
wouldn't
dude.
it? What's that?
No, nothing.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I never had Tom Arnold on my bingo card as being like the hero in all of that shit. Like now that like poor old Roseanne lost all her marbles.
Oh yeah. Did you ever hear? So Tom Arnold was molested as a child.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Did you ever
hearing
hear the
whole
story about? So he performed. He was performing at the Des Moines Funny Bone,
Mhm.
and he found out that the dude that molested him.
I have heard that he confronted him.
Yeah, he punched him in the stomach.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking awesome. I don't know if that was in the register or not, but
well, I don't know. I mean, it might have been below your gag.
yeah.
Yeah. Really dunking on that victim there, Curt.
Yeah. All right. Hell yeah, man. This has been awesome. We'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We almost hit an hour, so.
Okay, cool, man.
If anybody is listening, me and AJ, if you're in Montrose, Colorado, I forgot to put it there at the bottom of the scrolly thing, but August 3rd, we're in Montrose, Colorado at Canyon Creek.
Yeah, go there and then go take a trip to Ouray, Colorado, and buy us some beers.
Buy some beers, you punks.
All right, dude.
Cool. Well, thanks. Where can people find you on? You're not much on social media, but
I still do it's X now at AJ Comic and
AJ Comic,
and then the Eddie and AJ podcast.
That's right. Go listen to his podcast. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Anytime, dude.
Yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Doing shows together, and
hell yeah,
definitely have a good time in Montrose.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, take care, buddy.
All right, catch you later, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.